I'm Lance Drury, and this is my story. I grew up in Saint Genevieve, Missouri, which is on the banks of the Mississippi River. It's a very historic town founded by the French in the 1700s, and I had a great childhood. My father would sing me to sleep. My mother would rock me in her chair. And so it was really a great time to grow up. You could roam the streets at night and not have to worry about anything. And that's where I live now, because I like living in Saint Genevieve. I like the people there. I know a lot of people there. So it was just a great place to grow up in. High school was very interesting. I went to a Catholic high school, and I was kicked out twice. Not because I really did anything bad, but I told those nuns and priests exactly what I thought. Fortunately, they let me back in both times, so I was able to graduate from Valley High School. I was just very outspoken, very rebellious. My parents divorced when I was 12 years old. It was very hard on me because I was close to my father, and at the time, nobody got divorced in a small German Catholic town. And so I just kind of lashed out, and that was one of the reasons why I was so rebellious. In my early 20s, I suffered a lot from depression. I think part of that stemmed from earlier in my life, and I was hospitalized at St. Mary's Hospital in St. Louis. In fact, they put me in the confined ward. But I wasn't going to be confined. I walked out a couple times, and in fact, I think I started lawyering back in those days with my psychiatrist because I told him I wasn't going to stay unless he let me leave on the weekends to party with my friends. I remember that, and the thing is, I underwent shock treatments. That was at a time when, they were still doing shock treatments, but it's very uncommon now. And you lose your sense of memory. You don't remember anything during the time that you had shock treatments. But I remembered one thing. One of the nurses was a beautiful brunette, and I still remember her face to this day. In terms of during my formative years, I think the best thing that ever happened to me was I was with the public defender system in the state of Missouri, and there was an opening in St. Joseph, Missouri, which was on the other side of the state, and I took that position. It was a 9-county area. I had to fire everybody there because they were all part-timers. They had a civil practice. People had not seen an attorney in jail for a year and a half. And in 8 or 9 months, we caught back up. We took care of all the backlog. But I think the best thing is that I went to a place where I didn't know anybody. I was alone, and it was a challenge to get through that and to really make a success of that place once I was there. I wanted to be a lawyer when I was young because I had a great aunt, Ethel Smith, who had worked for a lawyer in Saint Genevieve in the 1920s and the 1930s. And I think she always regretted that she never became a lawyer, because back in those days, you didn't have to go to law school. You could simply take the bar. And she tried to instill in me the fact that I should be a lawyer with my background and with my skills. And so I think that was really the impetus that got me to want to go to law school. I've always been on the side of the little guy against the government, and I think that's why I wanted to become a public defender. And it's also why I do what I do today, which is to represent people who owe taxes to Uncle Sam. It's always the fact that, I'm trying to save Fay Ray from the clutches of King Kong, and the government has all these resources, and they can be so overbearing. They can scare people out of their wits, and so it's very gratifying to me to be able to help somebody against the big bad wolf. When I was in my law office in Saint Genevieve one night, and I was on the internet probably at 10 o'clock at night, and I came across a program from a gentleman out of Colorado who was offering books on IRS Tax Resolution, which is representing taxpayers before the Internal Revenue Service. And so I decided to buy the books, and the next thing I knew, he had an offer for a seminar in Tampa, Florida. I went to that, and then I joined a group out in Denver, Colorado, and that really started me on the road to being successful in this area. I just came in the office one day and I told the staff, we're going to St. Louis, we're going there in 30 days, and I'm going to start going on the radio, and that was the best move I ever made. It's just mushroomed in the last 10, 12 years. Then we were able to open an office here in Nashville, Tennessee, and we've been able to accomplish a lot. We probably have 800 clients in the office between St. Louis and Nashville. So it's been very gratifying to see the business grow as much as it can and to have the staff that I have. I was in private practice, but I did primarily small town law practice. And most small town lawyers, it's not very lucrative. So I came across something that was basically a niche that people don't want to do. Nobody wants to deal with the IRS. You know, it was a lot of hard work. I said to myself in probably around 2006 or 7, I don't care if I go into the office at 3:30 in the morning, I'm going to make myself a success. And that's exactly what I did, because I was in there early in the mornings. And it was a lot of hard work, a lot of long Saturdays, but it's been very, very good for me, for my clientele, and for the people that work for me. There's many times that I've failed in life. I've gone through depression on a few separate occasions. But I think the thing is, my great Aunt Ethel used to always tell me, that's no hill for a stepper. And that's an old Southern saying that, you know, if you have problems, you just got to keep going, because eventually you'll come out on the other side and everything will be okay. It took me a long time to learn that lesson, but I've eventually learned it, and I think that's probably the biggest thing that's made things successful. Well, I guess I would tell my 20-year-old something self that you're going to have bad days. There's going to be times when people are all against you. There's going to be times when things aren't going very well, but you just got to keep going. You got to keep plugging away. And the greatest word in the English language is redemption. You can fail and you can fail and you can fail, but you can always come back. There's always going to be a better day, and if you want it bad enough, you will be successful in this life. I'm going to be 70 in a few months, and I think that what drives me is still helping people out. It's very gratifying. I feel like I have a great purpose in life. I think I would lose that purpose in life if I quit working, so I don't have any plans to give anything up. As long as my mind and body are doing well, I'm going to keep the business going. Obviously, I'm going to cut back a little, but I don't think I ever want to quit this, because we've helped out so many people. Thousands of people have their lives back because of the work that we've done for them with the IRS.